Or
Are we actually recording yet?
yeah, we're recording.
Couch Co-op.
Tell your mothers and your sisters. Couch Co-op.
I think that might be actually better than whatever Bill the Bard ends up making for us.
Good job, boys.
Oh, snap all.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the 180th.
Wow.
180th
Holy cow.
My goodness.
episode of the Couch Co-op Show, the greatest video game show in the world. We are a group of close friends sharing our love of gaming with you.
You-
I'm Ian, along with Jared,
Hi there.
Aaron,
Hello.
Scott,
Late as ever.
and Dave.
Happy and
You know what's
Oh.
fucking weird is that we're all in a row or the right way.
Perfect.
It's
That
fucking
is
weird to
yeah.
me. Anyway,
you sell the mics, maybe that's why.
remember
Yeah.
you can be a part of the conversation by leaving comments and questions over on all the places.
Twitface,
go to the
Instaface, and something else.
InstaFace, all the face, Superface,
Graham,
on your
Turd.
face, sit on Aaron's face.
No,
Yes.
not do that, please.
I
Fun.
think somewhere in there we have a Discord that nobody uses.
Yeah.
Oh, we do
Yeah.
have a good Discord.
That's
that-
right. We need to
Yeah.
promote that more.
I still have the app on my phone for some reason, but
Yeah, you just go to @Couch Co-op Shows, all one word.
No hyphen.
You can find our podcast wherever they are sold, and try following us on twitch.tv/The Couch Co-op Show. We stream our show every Monday night, whenever the
Yep.
fuck we feel like it. How we
7:30.
all doing tonight,
Doing
gentlemen?
good.
Gentle sausages,
Good.
Fresh off the beach.
It's been a good day.
gentle sausages
was a good
indeed.
day.
Nice
Yeah.
day of sunshine.
I've been perfect.
Yeah.
The Northwest. Love it.
I didn't go to work today.
Me neither.
Bad. I stayed up super late last night.
Me too.
Anyway. Yeah. So let's get to the news.
News. You hear it first.
Well, probably not.
Probably third or fourth.
Probably last.
Last week, yeah, because we're going to talk about news from last week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because everything will be announced tomorrow.
Yeah, I
All
was
the-
going to
Yeah,
say the
yeah.
real news will
Always
be
a day
tomorrow,
behind.
won't it?
Of course.
Last week we saw reveals from Sony at Sony's State of Play. Final Fantasy VII is still around, guys.
Yeah.
Medieval is coming remaster. Predator Hunting Grounds and Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Speaking of monsters, Dauntless, the free-to-play monster hunting type game, is releasing next week, May 21st, on consoles and Epic Game Store. It's already been free-to-play on PC.
I'll
I
play
think
with
through
you.
Steam. With good sales figures, Capcom says DMC 5, Devil May Cry 5, has reinvigorated the franchise. Ghost
Yay.
Recon Breaking Point was revealed. It looks to add a bunch of survival elements, as well as John Bernthal as the villain. Rage 2 is out, and the reviews are all over the place. The internet seems to believe a new Death Stranding trailer is incoming, so strap your Fulton device on to
Let's
it
hope so.
and stow it.
Yeah.
Do any of you want to talk about
I actually want to
any
make
of that?
I actually want to make a side note on the Predator Hunting Grounds one. My friend and coworker Jagan, he actually is working on that with a few people up in Tacoma. Actually, yeah, he's a part of the programming developing team that's actually
Really?
doing it. Yeah, he sent a thing
Cool.
about it on YouTube. Actually,
Yeah, it's a company I've never heard of.
So
Yeah.
they also did.
Nice.
So he also did the Friday the 13th.
I don't know if we got him before or after, but he's definitely working on the project with the Predator Hunting Grounds. I watched the trailer on YouTube. It looks fucking dope.
So how do we
Cool.
get him on the show?
Yeah.
Well, he told me every once in a while he's down in Portland. I told him to let me know when he's in Portland, and I'll try and get him on the show. But yeah,
Cool.
he's working on it.
So
So,
this is like so the Friday the 13th game was Jason killing people like teenagers at the beach. This is the same developer.
yes,
The cool thing about this game, the Predator one, is it's only for PS4.
yes.
So they're not going to have all the, supposedly they won't have all the technical issues they had with servers and stuff, having to work on multiple.
Yeah, I wish him luck.
Nice.
I hope it works out.
But we didn't see gameplay. We just saw
Oh yeah, the teaser.
the teaser was just, oh, it's a Predator game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's working on that right now actually. So hopefully I can get him to be on the show when I see him when he comes down to Portland next.
That'd be great.
Was there any other news that I missed, guys, that you think is important to? It was kind of a slow day.
No.
Nah, I've been kind of laying back. Nothing's really blown me away.
Although the hunting grounds thing for Monster Hunter, I'm excited for when that comes out.
Iceborne.
Yeah, Iceborne. So-
But it was nice to see Final Fantasy VII Remaster. There's going to be more information at E3.
Actually, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. I don't think that game's ever going to die.
No, it will never die.
Nope.
And if you think about it, remasters has definitely become a thing this generation.
Oh, yeah.
No,
This is
no doubt.
this is not just a remaster. This is like an overhaul.
It's a
Yeah.
complete
Like a whole-
remake.
Yeah,
This is-
movies
it looks
and
really
games
good.
too.
But
And
I mean, the PlayStation 3 didn't have that many PlayStation 2 games remastered. They were like sequels, whereas this generation, it seems like they're going through quite a large portion of the back catalog on the
I mean, the whole trailer.
360 and 3.
The original Final Fantasy remastered trailer has been remastered because like they showed the differences of just those two trailers was pretty ridiculous. So
Well,
Did-
yeah, it switched companies,
Yeah.
dev companies. They made it internal Square.
Maybe one
so-
of these days I'll actually beat that game.
it's a
Yeah.
totally different game.
Did anyone else play Crisis Core for the
No.
PlayStation Portable? It looks exactly like Crisis Core, the battle system and just the way the angles work and stuff like that. And I loved it. Like it was definitely the game I played specifically on PSP a lot.
Nobody here owned a Vita or a PSP.
I had a
Yeah.
PSP.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the white limited
did?
edition Star Wars
Oh,
one.
My, did you play it?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it, and
Yeah.
then I didn't play it anymore, and I sold it.
And then nobody else did, and it
Yeah.
went away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my brother had one. I played one of the driving games on it where you crash. I can't
Now, you
remember.
bought Type 0. Is Type 0 in any way tied to this, or is it... Because it has the same battle system as Crisis Core and the upcoming Final Fantasy VII
Well,
remake.
because I don't know much about Crisis Core, and I've played 10 minutes of
Oh,
Type
no.
0, I don't have an
That's
answer
right. I was the
for
one who
you.
told you it was a PSP remake. So
But
I
is
think
it-
they piggybacked the battle system.
Is the battle system similar to 15 or no?
No.
No,
No.
it's,
I mean, it's
Crisis Core.
action battle kind of stuff. So I mean, it's similar in that way, because Final Fantasy used to all be about time and waiting for your turn and that kind of garbage.
Mhm.
But they've gotten rid of that in recent iterations, which is nice. I'm okay with that because I've been trying to play Octopath Traveler, and it's just hard for me to hang on because I'm really tired of turn-based RPGs.
I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. I'll let. Yeah.
That's,
Wow,
on, that's
that-
on my list, like, for sure.
That's
because
not a glowing review because you have a
Yeah.
high pain threreshold when it comes
Yeah,
to games
yeah,
where
I
not
do.
much
High
happens.
The
I'm interested in it.
The battle system's fun, but I'd rather grind just by mashing on buttons to destroy stuff with cool effects. But I actually have to think about like every battle. I can't just hold the button to attack and defeat these things, so I can grind in an easy way. So,
Is someone hearing the static?
Yeah.
I hear it too. It sounds
one
like
ear, one ear, just kind of...
oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
just my headphones.
Is it someone's mic?
I don't think so.
Or what it is?
It's only on the left channel as well.
Yeah, no.
It's on the other left.
It's
Well,
not.
you-
It's
you-
not the adapter
a
going
little
in
stuffy,
there, is it?
stuffiness.
Yeah, you jiggled that thing around, but
Jiggle
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Jiggle
well,
that.
But
very-
why would we hear that? I guess
very
it could
minor
feedback, but
feedback.
Oh,
but,
well.
Yeah.
hopefully it
Yeah.
doesn't get worse.
it's like
I
a
don't
short
think it
somewhere.
will.
Yeah.
Cool. We have a question that I was weird that JPK asked.
Ooh.
I think it's mainly for Dave.
Yeah. it's
Okay.
on
I'll take a question.
Space Torture?
Dave's question, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Can the games at your local library segment come back? Get Dave's wife to do
Oh.
an update.
Okay. Well, let's do that. And no, we're not married, but
Your wife has to do the segment.
No, I was going to say there's a gentleman here who was just
And a pretty cool
extolling
shirt, by the way.
the virtues of the library gaming system and may have a few words to say on the subject.
I wonder who that could be. Scott.
Yeah.
Not a single person that I've talked to, big gaming fans or just friends otherwise, knew that the potential library rented video games and not just a few select, reject games. You are sitting on just gold. Like, they have so much at the local library. And if they don't have it at that library, they have another one. So we have Hillsborough, we have Beaverton, we have Tualatin, and they're all basically, Switch games. And
Yeah.
3DS games, and I went there and I said, "What's the limit?" And they said, "Oh, like you can get up to 100 things."
Oh.
Like, don't give me that option. I will rent like as many games as I can carry out of here.
Yeah, and then you can set it up so that you can
Oh my goodness!
put them on the waiting list, the wish list, and
Yeah. You don't have time to run it back to the library. You just go to the site and click renew, and there's 7 more days. Newer releases are tricky. Tetris Effect not only was in queue, like 2 other people were waiting on it, so I could not renew my rental. It was that, and I think another game that I call it rented, but it's like loan. I guess
it's just like a 7-day library book.
Yeah. I'm really impressed.
With like 3 or 4 renewals.
I'm definitely on the library train of just back-to-back releases.
Vancouver's not cool enough for that.
Yeah.
Have you checked? They're not part of a
you probably
greater
have
library
multiple
system.
Vancouver's.
It's not in the system.
Yeah, I know they have movies and music and stuff, but I have not seen video
Clark?
games yet.
Yeah, they have a really good selection of.
So we could probably request them.
Yeah, you could do an interlibrary transfer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we could probably request them.
So if there's a segment, I almost feel like it's gonna supersede my Redbox thing, because Redbox, I get coupons, but it's very hit or miss.
And
like
you only get them for a day.
have like from Friday until Sunday to get this like free game rental, or it'll be half off. Or
I got a free game just by renting a movie. It's been a while.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Redbox
I've had
is.
that a couple of times.
I still love the Redbox is quick, and they got the game the release date. Like Rage 2 is probably right now at Redbox.
Yeah, I think
that's
Redbox is good if you're looking for a game that's
Immediately.
just been released.
Yeah. So library is good if you're okay waiting, or if you want something that's been out a while.
Yeah, if it's been out 6 months, you can
it's there and
usually
you can
get it
get
at
it.
the library and get a couple of renewals on it if you want.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So very
I may do
very.
that.
But as I
impressed.
said, that's the reason I have so many platinums, because
Yeah.
I got a lot of games from there.
Oh, they got all the Telltale
All
games.
the Telltale stuff.
Oh,
They
yeah.
definitely have a full library of Telltale games, because those are books anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
are you
pretty
just
much.
reading?
Why
It's
do you
a
think I
visual
have a
book.
platinum at Adventure Time?
Your daughter?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I like the
Says,
segment. If we can
giving you
get
shit,
something
dude.
catchy on it, I can do a quick like. I mean, when I did the PS Now thing, I was going through games left and right, and I feel like the library has become my new multi-game rental, multi-game play. Skip the tutorial, skip the opening cinema, and get right into the meat of it.
Yeah, play.
Yeah, because 7
into that
days
meat.
is enough that if you really want to beat something, you can.
Yeah.
It'll be a push, but
You could beat most indie games in a week.
And if anyone
Yeah.
want to challenge
Yeah.
me, I already beat Hatsune Miku, so I pre-beat whatever challenge.
wow, and no one
Pre-beat.
even challenged you to that.
Oh.
No.
I mean, I was 10 minutes late today, so I guess I self-fulfilled my challenge of beating Hatsune
Are you saying you
Miku.
satisfied yourself?
You
No.
guys should just though quickly about Hatsune Miku, like, because I know Dave hated the game.
You
And-
hated? That's a strong word.
Yes.
You guys should go back and forth with each other here right now. It should be like a gamer throwdown here.
Oh,
Why
man.
the game sucks, why the game's good. Go.
The
Do it-
music on that game
do it
absolutely blows
Dun,
arse.
dun, dun.
You know what song I hated the worst, and you could probably sing it with me. Beep, bop, 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 beep, bop, 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 beep, bop, 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 beep, bop, 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 bop. I don't ever want to hear that song again. I sometimes mute the TV because the song is just so irritating.
Yeah.
And then my eyes want to bleed.
Yeah, and you
It's
can't
like
blink.
some of those later. It feels like that scene in A Clockwork Orange where they plaster his eyes open so he can't like actually blink.
I can
It
see
feels
that.
like you've just been doing that for 5 minutes.
All
when
he
you
was doing
finish
was
the
playing
song.
Hatsune Miku. That's
Yeah.
he was trying the
Whoa.
event stage where you have to go through 3 back-to-back songs without any break in between, and
Yeah.
that's almost like 12 minutes straight of Hatsune Miku dancing around, and I don't know. I almost want to rent Persona Dancing just to play a good new dancing simulator, and they do have that at the library.
And you haven't rented it yet? I'm surprised.
I'm
Yeah.
probably heading there after this.
I'll just go to Jamalami on my PlayStation.
Oh,
1,
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Cool.
a good
Sick.
choice.
which is the songs.
So
Silly.
Hatsune Miku has its fan base, and I don't understand it, and I don't know why she's so popular, and
Yeah.
I don't get why she was
I'm
an
not-
advertisement for a Toyota.
I'm not a big fan of auto
Only in
tune.
Japan.
People will go to see her hologram
You know what's
and
fun?
cheer
You know what's
for
fun?
a hologram.
And I can attest to this because when Dave finally on that challenge when he talked about Hatsune Miku and he had all this hate and vitriol to
I'm
speak
gonna
about the game.
have to listen to that, yeah.
No, but that episode that I just labeled it Hatsune Miku, it's one of our most downloaded episodes. So there's clearly people that
That is
like
crazy.
Wow.
bizarrely.
Oh, snap.
So at this point, I'm probably not going to call this like game development crunch, blah blah
It's
blah.
Hatsune Miku
I'm-
Returns.
Return. Or
Hatsune
Two,
Miku at the
Return of
library.
Hatsune.
Yeah.
It's just going to be another Hatsune Miku throwdown, I think. So
I mean, it's a step up from
Hatsune
boobs.
Yuku.
from the last episode.
Boobs.
What was up with
You
that?
could have put
No, that's clickbait. We are boobs.
no. You could have put
Yeah.
Twitch affiliate party
No, that's not
or
that
something.
exciting.
I don't know.
No one cares about that.
Maybe Hatsune Yuku.
Anyway,
Oh.
I highly recommend if you have a few
Gotta get in
moments, search out on YouTube the Hatsune Miku guitar pedal.
Oh, really?
Or the $400 controller.
No, it's an effects pedal. You plug a electric guitar into it, and it makes your electric guitar sound like Hatsune Miku singing.
Oh, the
Oh.
auto tune. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Did you read the translated
Bizarre.
lyrics? Did you actually look and see what she was singing about?
on a few of them. Yeah, at
Oh,
some point,
wow.
at
One of
so-
the trophies requires that you watch the entirety of a concert
Ugh.
and not skip the song at all. That's 29 songs times, 5 minutes a song? That's almost 2 straight hours of just watching Hatsune Miku.
This is
videos.
Couch Co-op Live, the official
Something-
podcast of Hatsune Miku.
something would be dead after if I did that. 2
Yeah.
hours of Hatsune Miku.
It is a silver
You would have
trophy.
went to a seizure,
I s-
Dave,
I
if you played that 2
still-
hours straight.
I
It-
still want to borrow that from you, Dave, because I
Yeah,
am
you're very welcome.
Please.
to.
curious about the VR mode because it has a VR mode.
You know, I do
Yeah.
think it is kind of funny that I own it though.
Yeah.
For a game I dislike
Well, it
so
was a-
much.
it was
Wasn't it a
challenge.
punishment? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a punishment.
I-
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
a
you
challenge,
guys
yeah.
set me. I was only off for one episode, and you bastards gave me a 4-game
Yeah.
challenge,
And hey, you succeeded. With
You
flying colors.
outdid yourself on that
and
one.
they were all like 20-hour game, 15,
And
20-hour games.
nobody else got a challenge, right? No.
The challenges
I
have
think
have
we
ran their
forgot,
course,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so last year.
Thanks for that, Dave.
There is something I want to do with you guys after this next episode with the Dungeons and Dragons. I was
No more docking.
no docking. No,
Space
no,
torture
no,
docking?
no. I want each of you guys to host and produce a show.
Oh.
So I was going to give you
Mm.
guys the
MC.
template, and then you guys will just run the show, and I won't do it jack shit
All right.
except
Wow.
except just be an asshole.
All right.
I think I can do that.
That's
I've
what I'm
done it in
saying.
the past.
So
Challenge accepted.
It's not a challenge. I just think it'll be fun for you guys to you guys be in control of the show.
All right.
So
That sounds
Challenge
like fun to
accepted.
me.
so that'll be after we'll start that off.
Aaron's
after.
mobile minutes.
Oh, just a show of mobile minutes.
A
Oh
mobile
my God.
episode?
Aaron, please
Mobile
don't,
episode.
No.
please don't do that.
No,
Aaron,
no,
do
I
that
don't
one
want to. I don't want to.
No, I just thought it would be fun so
No,
that
that'd
people
be
could
great.
hear. You guys have to pull all the news and find the topics. and
Top
all
10
that
Candy Crush clones.
Yeah, that too.
Nope.
Somebody
Oh,
reach me a beer.
Jared needs a beer.
I'm
Aaron,
thirsty.
he's thirsty. He's like
He
he's
can't
water.
get out of
Ah.
his seat either to get it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that chair is super
I'd
comfy. so I
probably
don't blame
trip
him.
over something and make a complete fool out of myself. So I
Well,
decided to nullify
yeah.
that.
You'd probably actually bash
problem.
this thing, and that would hurt.
So this week, we're gonna have a little discussion, just open floor, shoot the shit. We have pretty well done a good job of avoiding talking about all these stories about crunch, about the unionization of game studios, about the culture around game development studios, and I thought it would be with the documentary Raising Kratos was released last week, and then I told the guys to maybe watch Playing Hard, which is about the development of For Honor. I thought those would be two good films. We could talk about those movies first, and then use those as springboards to talk about the bigger picture of game development, what we think is going on. Do we even care about what's going on?
So-
that kind of stuff. So first, let's talk about the movies.
So if you haven't watched them, viewers, the Kratos movie is available on YouTube,
Yes.
and the Playing Card is available at least on Netflix
Yeah.
in the US. I'm not sure where else. Both are well worth a watch.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
both if you're interested in video games and how they get produced, they're both good, solid documentaries.
Kind of what happens to people that also make video games to a
Right,
certain
yeah.
degree.
Right.
Yeah, basically any creative process where there's a finite deadline, and they have to keep going.
So what do you guys? We'll start with you, Dave. What do you think of which of the two did you like better? And what did you
From a
like about?
critical point of view, I wouldn't say I preferred one over the other. I just thought it was a real stark contrast between the way the two teams behaved.
Yeah.
The God of War team, they were all pulling in the same direction, and they seemed like they actually cared for each other, liked each other, and they had this goal, which was to produce a game that they could all be proud of and they all loved. Whereas the Playing Hard documentary, it seemed like it was more of a butting heads affair between the game's creative director and
Yeah, like the guy
Yeah,
got his
the money
dream,
man.
and
Yeah.
then they got the money, and then they kind of took it away from him at the end.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, you gotta do this. And
It also shows the parallel between companies that work as one whole company, like Santa Monica Studios, and then a company like Ubisoft that pulls from one of many, many, many different studios that they own, and they all work like 5 studios on one game.
Yeah.
And it shows the different parallel between that. That's just so dynamic and crazy.
The other thing that was interesting about the two is like God of War in itself seemed like they were always kind of, or at least that was the way it was portrayed in the movie, was it was all like one team always.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're definitely seeing like there was 3 different teams working on For Honor, and it just they were always fighting with each other to a degree.
Yeah, especially when they brought in the studio that wasn't Montreal. I can't remember where it was, but they brought in the outside Ubisoft studio, and it was like it just seemed a much more fraught process. And yeah, I think you find this a lot in corporate cultures in general. It's like getting everyone to pull in the same direction, or any kind of large team effort. It can easily devolve into like infighting
And it's interesting too, because like the God of War one, they're obviously stressed out, they're working, but then ultimately have this really successful end story.
Yeah.
Whereas For Honor was successful, but the ending of that story was not happy.
Kinda sad,
They kind of broke it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if some of it's just the documentary license, because one of them's like an hour and a half, and one of them's almost 2 hours. So it's like in Playing Hard, did they just decide to focus on 2 people, even though it's a bigger team?
So I do know this. So obviously we can't like. We do know that the Kratos movie was produced by Sony Santa Monica. So
yeah, it is a little bit more of a puff piece.
They did give there's some puff. There is some dark stuff in there with the producer. She was pretty crushed, but it's more of a puff piece. The Ubisoft one, Ubisoft gave license to this filmmaker to make this documentary, and then like towards the end they took all his access away, and he kind of had to beg them to let him finish the movie. Yeah. And he says that Ubisoft didn't make any edits to his final piece. So very, it's kind of commendable for them to be a bit more transparent with some of that stuff, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, it just seemed like 2 different philosophies to making the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I like both of them, like Dave said. They both have kind of their different...
Yeah.
I think the one thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way about both of them is that they're both from an administrative top-down. You don't really see much of the muck guys, the people that they're always apologizing, guys and gals, that they're kind of people, developers, programmers, that they're... you don't see the people that are getting... really dealing with the crunch. You see some of these administrators that are like, it's been a lot, and I get that. Yeah, that's what you signed on for. But like, there's these other people that are getting walked over by you.
Yeah, it's like in the Playing Hard For Honor. Well, the game that they're developing in that is For Honor, but it's like the game designer says, it's 3 months left to go, and I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, but
they're
the people that are really
him out,
but the people that are really working on that game, they're getting crushed.
Yeah, because they're doing all the bug.
You assume.
They're doing all the bug fixes, fixing the graphics, and he's laid out what he wants to see. It's fine tuning at that point.
And then he feels a bit, I don't know, bitter about the whole thing. But, like, what else is he gonna do? I guess they can him basically.
Well, he was hoping to work on the sequel.
Yeah. But that game doesn't ever feel like it's going to have a sequel. They just keep launching content. That game has been out how long now?
Yeah,
it's been like a major success for them.
2017?
Yeah,
a couple of years.
It's interesting. You guys have any thoughts about Scott didn't watch either.
I did see Indie Game the movie.
Oh, we could talk about Indie Game. I have seen Indie Game the movie.
Yeah, so I really like that documentary.
That's a great one too.
It really was the struggle of they've never made a game before. This is brand new for them, and it's just like Fez was one guy, Fish, and then the Super Meat Boy was 2 guys. So, I mean, this isn't big studios. This is their life's work. If this fails, they are done.
And it's interesting too because those guys are dealing with, we're trying to make this game, but then we're also trying to get money from these larger places to help us finish our game. I mean, that's a whole nother it's a whole nother thing, like obviously these bigger games, they have the money. It's just,
and there was another interesting point was that they both delayed the release dates.
Right.
And it got the main drama in the God of War documentary came from the fact they made this demo for E3 and they totally nailed it, and they were like, "Oh, we spent like 30% of the time to make 10 minutes of game, and we've got to make a 40-hour game.
As a gamer, that must happen so much more than. I mean, obviously, we got the news recently about Anthem with their whole demo that they showed to the guy at E3, and they didn't even have a game yet. Like, this obviously is happening all the time.
Yeah.
This is just how it works now.
Yeah. Although looking at at least at the God of War, it seemed like the engine was in place. You know, they might not have all the story and the assets, but they had like the fundamentals.
I think some of my favorite parts of both of those was the video of the concept gameplay, where everything's just like a skeleton frame, and
where it's just just a guy.
Yeah, so it's just the weird little colored blocks, and they have some of the gameplay going. So it's really neat to see the early phases of the gameplay.
We forgot to put the controller on. Don't shut down.
Yeah, don't go away.
Right.
Oh no, they can see the beers.
Oh no!
Hide the alcohol.
Keep going, Jared. Sorry.
No, that's all I had to say. It's just cool to see the early design, because you never get to see pre-alpha footage, not often.
Right.
You never get to see the concept phase, so you don't get to see those graphics, like the early, just kind of settling on the gameplay kind of graphics of the hitboxes and the goofy little sword they threw in their hand and whatever, the world level building they have around it just to have physical objects.
Do you think there were far worse things happening during those developments of those two games?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Do you think that's just how game development is nowadays?
I feel like there's so many people involved, and they've got to get on each other's nerves, and it's it's such a big process that eventually someone's gonna have a knockdown, drag out fight. Like, what the you think you're doing? We're never gonna get this game out on time. Your team's not, producing in the manner we think it should be.
Anything else you guys want to talk about the movies?
Well, so one thing I liked about the Raising Kratos one was the fact they actually went to these places to get inspiration for their thing. Like, I didn't know they went to Iceland actually to get their like concepts of where they want to do it. And also, before that, my ear just dropped a second on the left side.
I think is it yours?
No, it's definitely all done on the left channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but continue.
There we go. One thing I liked also was they actually found out that the people that live in Iceland, that their language is the closest to the Old Nordic, so they got a bunch of people that like acquired, and they had their song in Icelandic, which is similar to that, which is pretty freaking cool because they want to make it as authentic as possible to their Norse mythology.
I must admit, the God of War documentary made me reminded me how good the music is in that game. Because you're listening to it and it's like, wow, that's pretty dang epic.
Oh yeah, the cue is when Kratos was.
I do have to say though, I've never been as excited as some of those people when at E3 they released it was God of War 3, and they've got those like live feeds, and the people are like freaking out.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I remember that. Oh, hey,
we got another comment.
Oh, hey,
we got you. We've
Nope.
Still can't hear it.
It's Katina, Nick and Katina.
Got to change the controller settings again.
And apparently she is mad because that's her name. Katina is mad.
Pickle Blanket will no longer be a thing.
I forget what I have to do.
Katina is mad.
There's a loading
could
screen.
be the new name.
Screen,
So I'll
pooping and
pull up.
beeping.
Boop, 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 boop.
Catch go up.
That was great.
Booping. Yeah.
So I'm.
We are booping. That's what we do.
We're booping it. And
Booping
beeping
it live.
Yeah, it's running on mine.
Boop it real hard. Boop, 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 boop.
Booping. I love that.
Is it booping?
So I'm watching the Twitch feed and it's okay.
Give it a second.
Maybe it's just way behind.
Yeah.
Could be.
Anyway,
I mean,
for bonus points, and then a slightly side topic, I recommended that you guys, and I think only Ian watched it because I only thought about it at lunchtime, was a great BBC documentary about a little company in Liverpool called Imagine Software, and it's called Commercial Breaks. You can check it out on YouTube, but if you want to see how the video gaming industry has changed in the last couple of years, or in the last 3 decades, you should totally check it out.
Yes, that does sound quite interesting.
Now it's classy jazz.
And it
It's just the music from the AR.
Yeah, the AR has taken over our.
Sorry, guys.
Now you can switch that off on your phone.
Oh, we
can't you?
got now 6
This is-
followers.
But
Yeah,
that's where they
oh.
get the Bandersnatch from. Is
I do want to see that because I
because
love
it's
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch is actually a real game.
Classy Jazz should be gone now.
They were producing some hardware that added onto the back of the Spectrum that would give it better graphics. I mean, it's funny watching them talk about realistic sound and
That sounds.
superb graphics, and you look and you're like, wow.
This is not what it used to.
Yeah.
What it is now.
Cool.
Oh.
Oh, we're working on it. Oh, the chair.
That's Jared.
It's like,
How? Wait. So
I don't know
AR
what
needs
you're
to
doing.
die.
the one thing I don't care much about was the For Honor one. Don't get me wrong, it was good. It showed a little more gritty than the God of War one, but it was it showed way more fighting than it had to. That's the one thing that bothered me about the For Honor one, but it was good
but
overall.
it's a game based around fighting.
Well, yeah, but no, what I'm saying is
Nothing?
in-house developer
really weird.
people were just growing at each other half the time. It was
Oh,
very bothersome. to me.
I'm sure Ian can relate to this, but any kind of creative endeavor where you put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. Well, that really fucks with us, huh?
Yeah, I just got left here like,
All right, it should be working now, though.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Yeah.
That should, really-
But yeah, any kind of creative endeavor where you put your heart and soul into it, it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Well,
It takes a lot out of you, and you're glad when it's done.
I think what
Yeah.
happened is the controller died, and then all the settings just went fucking.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the game shut
AR
down,
just took over.
and it was like, what?
Yeah.
Stupid.
So hopefully
But,
it
I
should.
don't hear anything.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Well-
so it's still not going.
Look, I understand.
Well, let's give up on that and let's carry on.
Yeah,
with the
You're
move
just
on,
gonna
move
get to
on.
watch us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so entertaining to watch.
Actually, you know what we can do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kill
You
AR.
can edit this out
No,
of the
don't
Yeah.
kill the
audio.
AR. But no, it's.
No.
I just felt bad for the guy in For Honor overall. Though, I watched it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a sad story. And then at the end, I was right, sad story. But I get it though. Creativity meets conglomerate. It's gonna butt heads like nobody's business.
I mean, when you consider how many people they've got developing these games and how much
True.
money they're risking, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
We
So
totally
we
left-
have audio back. We're just using the PlayStation
Yeah.
camera's audio.
Cool.
So it'll sound
Sweet.
Continue.
a little
Continue
less.
as always.
All right.
Forever.
Forever.
But I mean,
so what? So from there, what I wanted to talk about is then they talk a little bit about the culture. You see a little bit of the culture and the crunch. They're always apologizing for crunch.
Yeah.
But it seems like that it never really.
it never goes away.
Well, no, but it never gets addressed fully. And if you read all the articles that we have in, on the internet from different gaming sites and what we're meant to believe from all these developers, they're all the kind of whistleblowers, if you will, even though they're
Yeah, the people that.
that it's really awful out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Of course, the extreme cases will always push forward the
Yeah.
most. Like in anything, like customer service. In anything, you always get the worst of it. So,
But there
it's hard.
there were articles, obviously. Red Dead had horrible crunch. There was articles about it. There was obviously the Anthem. BioWare's always in their articles awful crunch.
Yeah.
Do we care that these people are suffering, or is that their industry?
Worth it.
Is it worth it?
I care.
I think if the employees care enough, they'll make change. Because there's been the pushes for the different change in the systems and
I don't.
how it all works.
I don't think you'll ever get rid of it because
No.
whenever you make a game, there's always things that they leave out because of time constraints. And so, unless they're making a very simple game, it seems like whether it's one man or, like you were talking about, indie game, and you look at how long it took him to develop Fez, and he just keeps on wanting to add more and more into the game. It's only natural. And that's kind of what the studios are doing. Except they're doing
But
it, burning thousands of dollars a day.
But for him, if it's a singular vision and that's his drive to do it, because there is no money unless he does it, versus these big companies that have money, they could just prolong, they could make the development cycle a little bit longer and account for the fact that they have to, this time that needs to be done.
I don't know.
They don't need to kill their employees. I mean, a lot of them look like they really. I mean, I work in a job that I like for the most part. I've never had that stress at that level or been so crushed by my job to that degree. Usually, it's other things in my life that are crushing me, not my job.
I have to say, I wrote a thesis, and that did crush my soul. And that was something that I didn't have a set date for. I was actually meant to finish it 6 months, almost a year before I did. And it wasn't through lack of crunch time and working hard. I worked 12, and I was only working for myself. I wasn't going to get rich out of this.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it and wanted to get it done. And
Would you ever do it again then?
oh, hell no.
See, these are developers. These guys do it again.
Yeah, that's the bit that...
That's their job. They get paid to do it. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the task expanded to fill, because every little bit you did resulted in 2 more. It's kind of like a chain reaction. You complete one bit and there's 2 more bits that need to be done, or it breaks something else somewhere else. So, or this conclusion doesn't match with that conclusion, so now I need to redo this.
Right.
And so I'm not sure how you necessarily get rid of it.
You
in
really
some
can't,
degrees, I think.
unfortunately.
But you didn't think but did you feel pressure to get it completed, or did you just have an endless amount of time? You didn't have because
I felt pressure to get it completed,
but nothing else,
I
just
had-
to complete it.
I had a hard date by which I completed, and I blew through that one. Then I blew through my Christmas date. Then I took 3 months off, and I finally just about finished it, within about 2 or 3 days.
But there's no one telling you to get it done.
No, but it expanded and it expanded, and it's just...
No, I get it. I get it. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to these people are working for a paycheck, and then their bosses are telling them that has to be done here. I guess I'm trying to we have a date. It's being released this date. There's no going around this. You guys have to work 7 days a week, 7, 12, 16 hours. Whatever they saying. Like some of them in Red Dead was 70,
100
80,
hour weeks.
100-hour weeks.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Were you working 100-hour weeks on your paper?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I would get up usually about 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'd go in, and I wouldn't leave till midnight.
I get the comparison. I just think it's slightly different.
No, I work in an industry where we have a hard date when we need to be done by, and I totally get the point that they may be they're either understaffed or they're not utilizing the time efficiently, because it shouldn't be that crunch at the end where you're needing 100-hour days.
Right.
But I also think you've got multiple teams doing multiple things, so maybe the graphics boys are done.
Oh, right. It usually ends up falling on the QA guys, and then it's all the bug testing and fixing. And it just seems like, they have a bunch of people. Like, how big is Rockstar is huge. And then they end up just getting freelancing a bunch of more people. They constantly add people, and they're all working.
Well, looking at the Kratos documentary, they do the Gold Master. And when they do the Gold Master, the game director's job is pretty much finished.
Right.
The story's there.
Right.
What they're going to find is the floating log and,
Right.
the character faces that don't look right. But you're not going to bother the game director about that. It's just going to be programming and art getting together and saying, hey,
but I think in his case, he was still, he was obviously playing the game and found that bug or whatever. He was still very much involved.
I think he was involved, but whether he worked 40 hours a week or the decisions weren't necessarily going to need to go that far up the ladder.
Well, in Red Dead's case, they thought that the horse riding was boring. And then at the last minute, they added the cinematic mode to make it more interesting. So that was like a last-minute choice.
That was all last minute.
Last minute, and it's
that doesn't surprise me.
Well, didn't they add that to the game and then remove it a number of times?
I don't think so. I think it was
Never removed. It was definitely.
It was the
just
flying in Anthem that was removed a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, that was the one I'm thinking of.
But no, the cinematic thing was like, man, we need to do something with this, and that's what they did. And it was like a last-minute change. Do you think then that those are working grunt people down on the floor, that they should unionize? I know that unions don't fix everything, but
Little Big Burger.
But like in the film industry, cameramen are unionized, writers, screen actors, all those people are unionized. Oddly, screen actors in a lot of those voice actors, they're part of the SAG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
lot of
And should they unionize?
It would help in some levels, but then being part of a union, couldn't they just kind of float around where they want? Or would it be individualized between the companies?
I think it's their decision, and if
Yeah.
they want to
Yeah.
unionize, then good luck to them, and if they don't, good luck to
But
them
do you
too.
think they should?
I feel like
Would
they
it hurt would it hurt the video games?
It would make some games take longer to make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
release
Yeah.
dates will be pushed
'cause they-
back because
yeah.
no one's
Yeah.
overworking
And
overtime.
yeah, but I don't know. It's such a weird balance. Yeah, the game won't come out, but they won't be paying hundreds of people double time for overtime and whatever other crap they
It's
do.
hard to say.
So it's hard to say what would
It's
be
always
more
the
of a
fine.
financial
It's
burden.
always the fine line between like, is this a manufactured crisis, i.e., is this because management are not managing correctly, or is it, because employees aren't being productive enough?
Well, yeah, I mean, with
Yeah.
the BioWare Anthem thing, I mean, clearly the management sucked.
Yeah.
Reading that article, it was just like, holy, but it seemed like both in For Honor and in God of War, those management teams seemed pretty on board, even
Yeah.
though people are still breaking down and still having mental breakdowns and
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened in that. I mean, we never really
Ye-
find out what happened to her when she's crying in the God of War
Yeah,
movie.
and
but
you don't find out in Playing Hard where the Ubisoft
Guy
guy
go-
went.
went- he
Yeah,
just-
he left
Just
his
kind of
at crunch time for 6. And that was the other part that got me. It's like, so he buggers off because he needs a mental health break for 3 months. Can you imagine how much crap the subordinate would have got if they did done the
well, no,
same?
but they
Oh,
do.
yeah.
They're-
Oh, yeah.
They don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But in articles, like in the BioWare, they do talk about how a lot of those people took leave. A lot of those, because it's just,
Yeah.
they're just being worked too hard, and it's just like they have to leave. And then some
I
of
want to
them-
see a documentary about BioWare.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
brutal,
There's
man.
so much
Oh,
material
God,
to
they'd
work
be-
with. Yeah.
in serious
We'll
trouble.
never see that.
Yeah,
Well,
nobody's been filming that.
Let's face
Nope.
it, if you're working 12 hours a day plus, that means you get up maybe at 6 in the morning. By the time you've had your breakfast and your shower, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You go into work, you have an hour for lunch.
I
You
think they're
don't-
all eating there. I
Yeah.
don't think they're.
Well, but that's what I'm saying,
Probably
12-hour
live there.
day. Minimum, you're going to get off at 7. And, by the time you have a commute each way as well, you're not getting home till like 8 o'clock.
I mean, I wouldn't be
And by
surprised
the
if
time it's time to go to bed to get round
I
the
wouldn't be
Santa
surprised.
Monica
again.
traffic.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had bunks at the office.
Yeah.
or like
Right.
it's like someplace in fucking China. Like what's the big
Foxconn
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that
My
makes all the
mom.
tech, and those people live there basically. I mean,
Yep,
I
it's
wouldn't.
a city for people.
I
work there.
wouldn't be surprised that like
But-
game development is almost that degree of
I mean, there's
brutality.
studies that have been shown that beyond a certain point, you're more productive.
No, you're
And I
actually
think it's
worse
like
off. You have
after
more
10
than
hours
you.
or something, you're more
Yeah.
productive. You have
You're
so
there.
much in you.
But at the same
And-
time, onboarding new people that don't know what's going on is also extremely
Oh
difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
the workflow and all the tools
Oh,
and all
yeah.
the rest of it. I can only
So a
imagine.
person that doesn't know what's going on versus a person that's slightly less productive is probably, it's
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
part of it. Each one is a bespoke production. It's not like there's some cookie cutter way of making video games where we use
Yeah.
XYZ tools and
Yeah, the tools are not streamlined.
and as
Right.
well as those as Kratos in the For Honor movie, does it still bother you that those companies really won't address it? Like that kind of crunch, like they'll address like how stressful maybe it is, but not the underlining culture of crunch. Like they never really address the big problem.
Or at least that we know. I mean, they could be
yeah.
trying different things, trying different amounts of team leaders. I mean, they could be trying all sorts of things, but we're never going to hear.
Supposedly there's studios that are in no crunch culture. There are one of EA studios in California, they don't allow it, and I know Capcom's gone to great lengths to minimize it. Destiny has supposedly. I mean, you never know this. They say
Yeah.
this. You don't know
Yeah,
it.
That's true.
I mean, like any
Bungie,
job,
not
there
Destiny.
probably are crunch times, and it's just like the crunch times are going to be different for different departments.
Does it ruin the game knowing that people suffered so much for it?
I think it would
No.
ruin those people more if you didn't buy and enjoy their game.
Yeah.
In my
Yeah,
opinion.
I was watching the making of Abyss by James Cameron, and that sounded absolutely freaking miserable. It was a similar kind of thing where he they were filming underwater for 8 hours a day. You know, pushing the camera crew.
Oh,
and-
jeez.
It's like the Heart of Darkness, the documentary
Yeah.
for Apocalypse Now. That's like better than Apocalypse Now, really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like it's worth a watch, and I think it's just when you have someone's artistic vision, but it requires more than just them to do it. That-
Yeah. I mean, if you're not buying the games and these companies have to lay off all those people that were working so hard, I mean, what's the better edge that you get there?
I guess you get kind of screwed because, like, if I
It's a
believe,
double-edged sword,
if I
really.
believe, like Cory Barlog, he directs God of War. I believe in his vision. I'm going to work. But like, it seemed like at BioWare and Anthem, it's like, man, what are you guys doing? Like, I wouldn't want to be under that circumstance, working in for a game that's like has no fucking clue what it's going to be or what it's doing.
Yeah, I suppose it's like games, movies, music. It's like there's a lot of mediocre out there,
Oh yeah.
and you wonder how it gets made. And it seems like the more people you have, and the more divested the leadership.
And I do feel bad, like in Anthem's case, like,
yeah,
man, that game's not going to be as successful. Those people are going to lose a bunch of money, and they're
And
going to that studios, because studios get shut down for this kind of stuff, ultimately.
and they were so close as well. I mean, they had the good bones there. They just because they didn't find something that worked early enough.
You think it'll get worse? What has to happen for it to get worse? What happens? What makes it worse?
For just BioWare specifically?
Anyone, like, what breaks the straw?
When it becomes as bad as what Aaron mentioned earlier as Foxconn, where they have to put cages
Yeah.
around the
Yeah,
windows
pretty
so
much.
people don't
That's-
jump off of it.
Oh yeah.
Where EA owns all
Yeah,
the game
so
studios.
If it ever gets to that, then they drastically have to
Yeah,
force
they're
a
gonna have
change.
to
Well,
make change.
let's face it. There's
I don't think it's EA's fault. I mean,
no, I'm not saying it's
No.
EA's fault, but
No.
the UK game industry in the mid 90s, when there was the big move from 2D to 3D, there used to be a lot more publishers and game developers around, smaller studios, and just the amount of money required to go from 2D games to
yeah.
3D games, it went from being like, hundreds of thousands of pounds to develop a game to millions, upwards. And I think that's what we're seeing here is, the money that they're betting on these things.
but the money they're gaining too. I mean, this industry makes way more money than
Yeah, but the
anything.
money-
yeah, that's
but it's like any
Yeah.
industry. For every one mega hit you have, you probably
Right,
have
right.
5 mediocre
yeah.
ones, and then 5 real stinkers. And so that's what's going to happen is, and you can see it happening. We're getting more sequels, we're getting more remakes, remasters, partly because they're just the same in the movie industry. The surer bets. They are, you'll be risking the money. You might not make as much, but you are a lot more likely to at least make back your investment with some profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in movies, how many times have you bought one movie
True.
over
True.
the years?
But there's very few video games I've bought more than once over the years. So
yeah.
I bought Avatar.
Should we even care as gamers? Does it matter that we know? Does it influence you guys at all? Does it you just brush it off and it's like, should we care?
I feel like we should care more than we actually do, because it's like they work their asses off, just like all of us work our asses off at work. And the problem is, no one feels like nobody cares about that type of thing.
I feel like all the bitches and moaners on Twitter and all the rest of it should just quiet down when they have to push a release date.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
games will come, and
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
sometimes they're better for it. You'll get a better product with less bugs, and if the choice is between pushing out that turd in a month or pushing it back 3 or 4 months and getting a better game.
Yeah.
I think the silent majority of the positive people on the internet should be a little more outward
Yeah.
in
Well,
positivity
Well,
towards the
Yeah,
developers.
not
hey.
congratulations, but
Good job getting your game out. Hey,
Yeah.
I like this
Well-
part. This part's really cool.
yeah,
Good job.
or it's not ready. I understand why you pushed the date back. Not like,
Yeah.
oh, you've ruined my life because I'm not going to
Right.
get this
Yeah.
game that I wanted.
I don't have.
It's
4
Christmas
million other
morning.
games to
Where's
play.
God of War 3?
Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
It's like Blizzard. They granted sometimes they push back and push back and push back. Like Diablo 3, they did that several dozen times, but that game came out and it worked. it was. I mean, granted, the story wasn't the best, but everything else worked fantastically on that game.
Well, not the store.
Not the PC release.
Yeah, well,
Everybody was pissed off about the PC
Yeah.
release, but
that's fair though.
that's a market that usually gets pissed off about
Well,
everything.
Yep.
let's face it, that's part of the problem, isn't it? We want it now, and then we're pissed off when it doesn't work because we didn't
Exactly.
give them enough time
Yeah, but
to make it work.
Well, most editors and magazine editors, whatever, they'll tell you don't buy a game on launch because
no.
there's going to be a lot of bugs to work out.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Days
that's,
Gone.
Of
Ugh.
course, your call,
Yes.
but
Hey, they fixed your audio problem.
Nice.
What was it? Patch 1.7?
They've been recently in the patch like every day since launch.
Oh, I know, because it's installed on my system, and guess what? I get a notification on every single day.
But they how many? They delayed that game like what 3 times already?
It's yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I mean,
kind of funny in a way because you think about it, that game probably went to gold master disc at least a month ago, so they had some time to fix some of
the
these
thing
bugs.
about that game though. I feel like from a lot of what I've read and I haven't played it, but it's a lot of bloat, and they probably should have focused the game more.
Yeah, it's open world. They wanted to have a
Right.
completely explorative,
But-
and like maybe there's a tree that didn't render right, and they just like, maybe no one will like run up against that. Oh, yep, someone ran up against that tree.
And the funny thing
now
is,
we gotta patch
in
it.
some ways, that's the opposite of. It feels like the opposite to me to Red Dead 2. Because in Red Dead 2, they were like, oh, we've got this world, and we'll just put in these random encounters. And they just kept on putting in these random encounters as you go around the world. And yeah, some of them are cool, but
It's funny too because like games like
fill
Skyrim
it
and
up.
Fallout, it's okay if they have bugs because it's a Bethesda game. Like certain fans are like, it's okay.
yeah.
That's how it is. That's what they do.
yeah,
But
is it fun?
with-
Is it fun to play? Yeah,
Other
you know.
games, like a Rockstar game, man. I mean, even in Rockstar's had some weird bugs in like the original. Anyway,
With Sony Bend, like that area has so many distractions. How can they get anything done anyway?
I don't think they can half the time, honestly.
There's no crunch time around there. Like, hey, I got to go to the mountain. Let's go ski.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Let's
hike
go.
for a
Let's
little
go
while,
to
guys.
one of these brew pubs. Let's
get a
hang
beer.
out. Yeah. Let's just chill.
That's what
Let's
we
go-
need
let's
is a
put our
beer.
feet back.
Yeah.
any last thoughts on the culture of crunch? I think it's bad. I do think they should unionize. I think it's an art
Yeah.
field. I do think to a degree,
Like,
I
some of
think-
those.
I still think Twitter needs to push people towards satisfaction and,
yeah.
promoting their happiness versus just trying to sink somebody.
Although I also feel like it's not field. I worked in a business where they used to make me do overtime every single day, and it's like, why? I'm working like 10 plus hours a week, and I'm not the only one. Why don't you just hire another person?
Right.
Right.
And it's like they're obviously doing this for these game studios because they start with a group of 10 people and end up with 100 at the end. If they know this crunch time is coming, why aren't they just hiring like 10 more QA guys or whatever the magic number is? And then
Well, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, it is still also an art, and so the artist is always adding things, and
Yeah.
then it's whether
True.
they want to, they want to, we can do this still. Oh,
yeah, we can get this.
it's like the game. It's like the
Yeah.
documentary. They kept adding things. Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna do this now. Oh, we're gonna do this other thing now in the
Yeah.
Bandersnatch thing. They kept adding things,
yeah,
and
we're going to record an LP.
the costs kept going up, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
we can't. At a certain time, that's
No.
where management. You have to be like, hey, management. You have to manage your game. Be like, hey, we can't do this no more.
Yeah, I thought that was an ideal like microcosm of what goes on in like game development, and it was kind of easier to understand because there's only like a few people involved in it as opposed to
Right. And it's really just
a
blue.
team of hundreds. But
Right. Anyway, it's what's going on? Oh, I guess I think we've gone our time. I think we can move on. Let's do some couch co-optionals and get out of here.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, the audio there sucks.
Ash vs Evil Dead season 3, Netflix,
Nice.
watch it. Blood, gore, chainsaws. I want to open a hardware store stroke sex emporium or sex toy emporium.
Oh boy. Of course you do, Dave.
That
Yeah. Yeah.
somehow doesn't surprise me.
Scott, anything?
It'll be called Skyrim.
There's a little Electric Rat movie that came out this weekend.
Oh.
This is Detective Pikachu.
Oh, that's actually out now.
How
Went
was
to-
that?
Yeah, it came out Friday. I saw it in 3D. Didn't have enough 3D to really warrant the 3D aspect, but am is a super fan. I've been playing it since day one, so we really enjoyed it. It's a standalone movie. You don't really have to know like all the Pokemon and stuff. And I think they were really selective. Like you didn't get a full like 300, 600 Pokemon thing. You had like, I'd say give or take maybe 30 or 40.
The superstars.
The superstars, yeah.
Superstar DJ.
There were a lot of adult references, and
Nice.
they know that their audience like played this game in high school, and everyone's like fully grown. So we're not just gonna make like a little 5-year-old Pikachu summer vacation. Like Ryan Reynolds straight up said, like, "Oh, you don't want to put that up your nose," and we're all just like, "Did that a cocaine reference in Pikachu? That just happened." Okay, cool.
Nice.
We're moving to that level. They also kind of played on the fan base. Like there was a Misty, and I think they just kind of catered to her to be like, "Oh, I'm a smart little anime girl," and
Nice.
but yeah, had a lot of fan favorites, had a little nods at the series. Worth a watch. The CG was amazing. Like you feel like you are in that world. Like at no point are you just like looks fake. Totally can tell this is not real. Like they made him look and feel, and they're like holding them in their arms, and it looks like they are legit like carrying around a Pikachu on your shoulder. The weight balance and everything.
Dave's sold.
Yeah.
No, I was going to ask you,
He sold me
does this
already.
break
So.
the video game movie curse?
Well, it's technically not a video
It's
game
really-
movie
It's
first.
so hard to like put it in that category. Like, I mean, it was an anime and a comic book, and then
Yeah.
became a game, and
It
then
started
there
off
was
as a
another
card
game.
Okay,
game. Actually,
yeah.
started off
Card
as a card
game.
game.
Card
Yeah.
game.
I've seen a couple of articles that say this is how video game movies should be made.
Yeah.
Yay.
I didn't feel much like it was a video game movie. Like, there's very
Okay.
little to say. Like, oh, I mean, he throws a Pokeball at the very beginning,
Yeah.
but otherwise, there's
That's
Just
that's
like
how it should be.
carrying your
Yes.
Pokemon around. Yeah, it's fluid in that sense.
Yeah, because
That's
you
horrible.
you don't need the filler.
But it's a property
Yeah.
that didn't start as a video game, so I think
No,
technically it doesn't start to count.
True.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that movie, though.
I got I won a Twitter contest. I always do these like retweet and post a comment, your favorite whatever. So I posted, what was your favorite platformer? I said Rayman Legends, and I won. So a shout out to
What did you win?
Alden Bear. Gave me a download code for Hollow Knight on Switch.
Nice.
Awesome.
Have yet to like really dive into it. I've only played like a little bit of it, but man, what
Nice.
a sweet prize. Thank you so much. I definitely want to say like enter these Twitter contests, guys. Like who cares if there's 400 other people who tweeted it? It takes 2 seconds. Do it. You might win. Like me.
Someday I'll
I
I've
join
done it a
Twitch.
couple times,
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Someday I'll join
but
Twitter.
I haven't.
And there's 5 of us, so I mean, good odds if we all just like team up on that. But yeah, really happy with the prize. Thank you, Alden, for really, really, really cool platformer. Maybe I'll like it more than Rayman Legends. I don't know. Legends,
Ooh.
I can't not play. Like it's
it's
a challenge.
it's
that
a different style of game.
You know what's
it
funny?
is for sure.
I talked
Metroidvania versus like
Yeah.
I talked about the couch co-op streaming last night on the episodes, and there was there's the Jason episode, and then Jared's on it, and he talks about Rayman Legends like forever.
That's funny.
Oh, cool.
And he's still playing it.
It's all
For-
connected.
It's
It's all
funny.
connected.
Anyway, sorry.
No, he's been talking about Rayman Legends since like
I know, for-
episode 10.
No, I know, but the
It's
show
a
is
legend.
anyway.
love it.
Anything else? Aaron?
New video game store opens this week. They postponed it, but Retro Game Bar on MLK in Southeast. I
Nice.
do want to see the opening. I mean, it's retro games and you can drink, and it's
Yeah,
like
sweet.
pretty central location because you got 2 arcades in Portland. This is like right in the middle, so I'll be there on the opening
Nice.
night. See how it goes. I'll probably have a review if they don't postpone it again.
All right. Aaron.
All right. Well, so this weekend, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the sports network. Blazers just won against the Nuggets on Sunday.
You mean Manchester City just won the Premiership?
That too.
The Liverpool unfortunately came second.
Yeah, that's a sad day. Oh.
Or you're talking about the 4-0 comeback from Liverpool against Barcelona?
Or are you talking about how I decided who's going to the finals while the Blazers beat the Warriors on
Let's-
NBA Jam last night?
Right. Oh yeah.
Destroyed them.
Oh yeah.
Sports.
Lillard, Curry. I took Curry down. I was a 3-point shootout, and it was like
Right.
79-61, bro.
Wait,
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
Scottie Pippen still on the Blazers back when NBA Jam came out?
Yes.
Yeah, no, but this is like
No,
this is the
Bulls.
PS3
PS3.
version.
Ooh.
On Fire
Oh.
edition.
I've-
It's
He's
super
on
awesome.
fire.
seen that one.
Did you guys not watch it? It's a great game.
I've seen that game actually. And
Anyway, sorry, Aaron.
All
yes,
the
the Blazers are
all the
going.
time.
The Blazers are going to the Western.
Sports games
Against
give me a
Warriors.
natural level of aggression.
Was it the Western Conference Finals?
but first time since
Jared
2000.
mad.
So
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
Jared angry.
But
yeah,
no.
Jared smash when I play.
You gonna get
sports
tickets,
games.
Aaron?
I don't think
Yeah,
I can.
Start saving, bro.
What was
Right.
that NHL game that made you really mad?
NHL arcade,
The one that we
Hockey
made-
Arcade. Yeah,
made
I still have that
Jared-
too.
That was a really good game, and it just got
Oh,
Jared
man.
so pissed off.
I've
Sports-
heard these stories.
Sports.
I wanna
Sports
see this
Angry.
someday.
Jared angry.
I want to see a live stream of sports.
It was like 3-on-3, and it didn't matter
It-
whether he was on the winning side or
It
the losing
brings
side.
Sports. I'm not an athlete by any means, but sport video games bring the caveman out in me,
I somehow believe it. And
grunting and shouting and everything.
Well, speaking of the caveman, has he done anything cool lately?
Yeah, I finally went out and watched Alita: Battle Angel.
Yeah, baby.
I loved it.
Did you see it in 3D?
No,
No?
I watched it at a budget theater.
Oh, that's
yeah,
fine.
it's like under $5 to go see a movie in theater. Hell yeah.
That was another movie
Nice.
that like it was so smooth. Like I mean, they made her look like a cartoon, like a anime character,
They-
but it
they-
was smooth enough. Right?
Actually, there was so much vitriol about that
Yeah.
that they made her eyes smaller.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Eyes creep me out in the trailers.
The month that the movie came out, Amazon Prime had several of their books from Alita, the
yeah,
manga
on
that you could
sale.
read. So I read some of that, and yeah, her eyes weren't that big in the manga either. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they edited them down. It turned out really great, and the movie was fantastic.
Yeah, I have
I'd
to let you
recommend
borrow
it.
the anime. It's, I mean,
You didn't bring it.
I
Dude.
literally came from the nude beach
Yeah.
I'm here on time. So yeah,
Slinging the schlong.
next time.
Ah,
Schling
So where
schlongs.
can the ladies go to meet you? In person.
Collins Beach?
I'm gonna go across the street and sling a schlong.
Slinging a schlong.
That's from Cool as Ice with Vanilla Ice. If you haven't seen that movie,
They love you, Slong.
it's
Never
a
seen
remake.
it.
It's a remake of Rebel.
Schlong time.
It's a remake of Rebel Without a Cause. I recommend you guys all watch it. That is not my couch co-optional though.
no.
And thank you, Ian.
My couch co-optional is actually the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover comic from IDW and DC Comics. It came out a couple years ago, but they just I got the hardcover, oversized hardcover edition in my shipment last week, and it's written by James Tinian the fourth and Freddie Williams the second. He's the artist, and it is glorious. Comic books, the art's beautiful, simple story for the most part, kind of standard, but Batman and the Ninja Turtles, it's a lot of fun. So I recommend.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That
recommend
does sound
that.
fun.
And that's all I got. All right, let's get out of here. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to remind you to leave feedback on all the places at Couch Co-op Shows. Remember, all one word.
No hyphen.
Also, you can try following us on Twitch. We will figure out the audio issue and make it better
Yep.
for next time.
The video
This
looks
is
great,
correct.
though. I like the AR.
Is it CenturyLink, Comcast? Maybe it's that's
we're
the
on
issue. Who
Frontier,
knows?
but I don't know.
Anyway, we'll figure
It's
it out
really
for
weird.
next time.
So yeah, but also twitch.tv/The Couch Co-op Show, where we play all the video games. Actually, the cool thing about this is we're actually Twitch streaming on Aaron's. No, we're on my Twitch, aren't we?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
on yours.
Oh, we're not on it. I thought we were on Aaron's.
That
But
was the
all these
official
guys
one.
have Twitch streams.
Yes, we do.
You have Clarkage and Mappy Man, Stellar number
87.
87, and I Dr. Dar.
DR,
Yeah,
DAR.
All these
Doctor,
guys.
Doctor, Dar.
All these guys can be found on
Da-da-da-da-da.
twitch.tv. Actually, if you just go to twitch.tv/The Couch Co-op Show, you can probably find them in my
Yeah,
followers.
We're somewhere.
Collection.
Find us, follow us.
Yeah, just think of the theme tune. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, totally.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Remember, you can find our podcast wherever they are sold. Subscribe, leave a comment. That would be very thankful and awesome of you. I want to thank Jared,
Anytime.
Aaron,
Any place.
Scott,
Dingling dongs.
and Dave.
Hatsune Miku.
We
I
had
like-
something
I
going
like-
there for a second.
I like Dangling Dave Russell.
Dangling Dave.
Dangling Dave Russell.
Doc
That
and
is
Dave.
a wrestling
Doc and Dave.
name.
Yeah, he was Doc and Dave last
Docking
week.
Dave.
For
was
joining me here on
Dangling
the
Dave.
couch for Couch Co-op, I'm Ian, reminding you to please be excellent to each other.
Wild stallions.
Peace out.
World.
Excellent.